oh, we want to give Max for time because he obviously plays less than Jungle for the most part? Or is this, actually, we think it's more of an off-tank meta and Max will be our main man for a lot of this tournament?
We are going in, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to kick us off. Esports World Cup 2024 Overwatch. Let's get into it. Crazy Raccoon on the right, ROC Esports on the left as we start off into our first match, into our first map. This is going to be a big step in Overwatch history. We see the Widowmaker on Lip already trying to take a couple of first peeks. It makes the first shot. But definitely something that ROC has to be aware of, as we see the Ashe on their side as well, to try to contest this Widowmaker, at least to a certain extent.
So we see essentially a double flex composition coming out from both teams, so it'll be quite slow, quite pokey. Obviously with the Brig on the side of ROC, they do win the front line in theory. Crazy Raccoon want to play for angles, they want to play to get Shu and Lip into these positions. That's exactly what you see Max doing here. Just giving a bit of space, trying to play him into Lip's sightlines, and there it is, Julian.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably just a DPS tip that we will probably see from Crazy Raccoon quite often in this matchup. First picks going their way, and now obviously the opportunity to just collab on that backline. Carney falling, as well as the Brigitte, and therefore first fight going the way of Crazy Raccoon as expected, as you can already see 25% up on their account already, and also he's saying already at 80% off that first pulse bomb.
Yeah, coming up to that one nice and quick. They'll have the walls to drop into this as well, and I think it's really difficult for ROC because clearly they've got a scary one on Brig, presumably because predominantly a main support player doesn't have some of those flex supports in their pool. We can see Crazy Raccoon actually putting Shu on the Alari for more impactful role and having Charong flex over here. So this is some of the flexibility. We'll talk about this a lot through the week in terms of the Korean teams and their flexibility and how much that helps them in this hero ban world. And we see a little early version of it here.
He's saying he's got the pulse bomb ready. He's looking for that opportunity. Can do it here, but doesn't stick it quite well. Only gets the Immortality Field leap. While that is absolutely going crazy. 3 picks on his account. Max finishing the last opponent. Probably already going into a last fight territory here for ROC Esports, as they're trying to get a glimpse of that spot on this first round. Slot now also close to his pulse bomb. He's saying on the other side already a third to on his account already for the second one, so definitely also a difference here. They're just waiting for that peak here. Now trying to take on the right side, gets the pick against Nitro. Already 1 man up in his last fight. Shu gets the trace as well. Overtime triggered, but probably not really doing something. Nobody can contest this point. Crazy Raccoon are getting into this. However, Froki did get a pick on Shu. It's technically after the point closed, but will count it as a win.
It was a bit of a shame, really, because they had the Flux, they had the Rally coming back. If there was a fight that ROC were going to be able to win, they had the ults to win that fight. Rally especially, such a powerful ult in these slower compositions. If you can get that Brig to connect. Obviously, the Brig has 2 bashes now when she uses Rally, so she can really close the distance, but the round kind of ended before it, maybe as we expected here. I think if you're ROC now, I don't know if we can count that one, Julian. It was after the round. I'm not counting it. I think there's scope here for ROC to get kills, but we need to see it. I don't know how old you are, Julian. I mean, I think it's fair to say you probably look younger than me. But Nitro on ROC side is 31 years old. I'm 33 myself, so as a member of the 30 plus club, I'm rooting for Nitro to get some kills here to show these young Korean players.
Lip.
It's not just a young man's game.
Absolutely, it's a game that everyone can play. Lip already with the kill on the Tracer has swapped over to the Soldier. Definitely a lot of variety that we're already seeing on the composition of Crazy Raccoon. Max now on the Bull, Korong on the Moira. And also obviously something where you have to consider maybe not giving away too much to potentially stronger opponents as well. So definitely some variety that we'll see from Crazy Raccoon here to make sure they can keep 1 or 2 maybe stronger compositions for stronger enemies at a later stage of this tournament. Point is already ticking in their favor as Lip is on 60% of his tactical visor already. Korong finding the pick on the Tracer again. DPS of ROC have not really been able to find that full value for their team yet. And you can already see here that aggressive style that Crazy Raccoon has been known for, that they've shown during the major in Dallas as well. Definitely something that we will see from them a couple of times in this matchup.
Mecha Base is a really interesting stage for this kind of thing, because in theory, Crazy Raccoon's comp should be really hard on this map, but it's only hard to retake with. If you have control of a point and you have these big open spaces, you can do exactly what they're doing here and bait ROC in. So we're going to get a Diva swap now from Hanny, just to try and keep that backline alive as Max comes in with the lines there. And
they have been able to split up the team very good here. The mines in the center, kind of taking this a two-sided fight now. As Lip has his visor ready, but probably doesn't even need it still. He uses it either way. The Matrix will deny most of it, however, as he's still trying to find a pick here. Vegeta ultimate also thrown in that fight, and we see a first kill coming in from the side of Rocket Slot, taking down Koron, getting another one, actually winning the Tracer duel against Heesang. Maybe even enough to contest this point for a little longer, as Kanyan Diva is falling dangerously low. Max is almost 1000 HP. Definitely not an opponent of fight you want to take alone. ROC Esports slowly but surely getting back to that point. Now also using the high noon. No kills from that. That was Koron. Just goes nuts on the Morio ultimate. And Crazy Raccoon is getting closer and closer to finishing this first map in their favor.
It's a shame, really. They did so many things actually right in that fight. The nature of these matchups is Crazy Raccoon are a dive comp and ROC are an anti-dive comp. So ROC need to do a certain amount of surviving, weathering the storm. And they did that. They came up for choke, they survived for mines, they survived for nano engage, they survived for visor. Thumbs up, everything's going well. Sloth even gets a couple of picks, not too bad at all. But then they just sort of bled out, they get drawn back. Obviously the nature of a Ball, Moira, Tracer comp is it can touch the point for ages. They're not able to get those kills. Eventually, they come back in with Churong's Cole, and they take the first round in, well, 200-0, essentially.
Absolutely no percentages on the point yet. However, first kills coming in for the ROC Esports roster here against Crazy Raccoon, probably the best team that we have in the Overwatch universe right now. At least they are the ones who currently are holding the only major title after the Overwatch League time. And now, obviously, as that era has concluded, and now it's the World Cup, it is definitely a big stage that you have to get used to first. And ROC Esports, as you mentioned, have already shown some very good first approaches. And now, as we get into that rhythm of getting into the next map, right, you have to reset the hero bans. You have to obviously talk about map picks as well, as we are working with the same format that we have been using at the Dallas Major, which means that obviously the loser from the previous map can now choose the map type as well as the map itself. How can this be used to an advantage here? And is it actually an advantage against a team like Crazy Raccoon that probably is fairly confident on most of those maps?
So in this particular matchup, it's probably going to make no difference. But across the weekend, I think it's huge advantage to loser's pick. You get to pick the mode, you get to pick the map, you get to pick the ban order. These are three huge things that can all influence the series. So you combine them all together, and there's a lot of ways for you to manipulate it in your favor. And I think especially one thing that's really important with the ban part of it specifically is because you get to ban first, you can essentially ban to protect your hero as well as sabotaging them. So you can maybe ban away an Ana. You think against Crazy Raccoon, that's what we're going to see a lot. Teams are going to ban Ana. So one, Shu, who's the best round in the world, can't play his best hero. But also it means their dive's a little bit harder. But not only do you take dive away from them, if you're a Brawl team, you probably protect Lucio. So ROC here could in theory do something like that. And take a strength away from the opposition and protect one of their own as well. So huge advantage here, right? I don't know if it's enough to upset a Crazy Raccoon type team if you're ROC, but it's a huge one.
Absolutely, and folks, keep in mind now that ROC Esports has banned the Lucio and Crazy Raccoon has banned the Rotok. Those two heroes are technically out of their ban pool. Still, the enemy can ban them as well. So technically, we could see the Lucio ban again. However, it won't be from the side of ROC. As we will continue with map 2 in a couple of minutes, we'll throw it into a quick break and be right back for the second map. Stay tuned and stay here.
clouds that are searing. Oh, my head is spinning.
The first map is done. There's so much pressure falling off your shoulders here, right? You're done. You're in the element of playing offline. You're on stage. You're ready. And you obviously are now starting to get into some kind of flow. At least hopefully, as Crazy Raccoon have shown absolutely no mercy on Busan. Now it's going to be the map pick of ROC Esports. Is there anything that maybe either ROC Esports is very good at or Crazy Raccoon is maybe not so good at that could favor a certain map here for a ban of ROC Esports?
If you want the truth, Julian, no. No, I think one of the hardest things, and and to be fair, it's not just going to be ROC who experience this against Crazy Raccoon. I think if we think about all the teams at the event, I think Crazy Raccoon and Falcons are not just in a tier of their own, as we saw at the Dallas Major over other regions. I think they're probably actually even in a tier of their own within Korea as well. So I think these are the two teams that are going to be really hard to beat, and I think we're going to see ROC struggle today, and we're going to see a bunch of teams struggle across this entire week with how do you ban against a team that can basically play everything. If there's one weakness, it's maybe that lip. If you can get them off hit scan, force them onto Tracer, Echo, something like this. If they don't have another DPS player, you can force them into a more tricky position. But it's small. It's a small one.
Absolutely. Still, obviously, any advantages you can try to get here, go for it, because it might be your only opportunity to take this monster of Crazy Raccoon down. As we will go to Midtown, so a hybrid map chosen by ROC Esports. Any heroes that now maybe fall in favor of a hero ban, or any heroes that we cannot forget as we take a look what the teams decided?
Yeah, the expectation is here they want to play dive. Oh, they want to make dive hard for Crazy Raccoon. Midtown probably the hardest hybrid to dive on. We see ROC banning Echo as well, which kind of lends itself into that as well. Forces them maybe to play more of a hit scan. We get a Mercy ban on the other side, which maybe if I'm trying to peer inside Moon's mind right now, I think that first round we saw on Busan, I'd wager that was pretty close to their real comp. I think what we're going to see now is a little bit more variety, a little bit more, let's not show our real bans, let's not give out any unnecessary information in this series, we're going to win anyway. So I think Crazy Raccoon, we saw them beforehand, we saw them on the stage, they seem to be in good spirits, pretty calm, pretty collected. ROC as well also seemed, they know the nature of this matchup, they were having a good time as well, Smiles on their side. So I think really what I'm looking at, Julian, is Sloth got 2 in the previous map. All you can ask for is incremental improvement, right? Can you do better than last time? And that's what we're looking here for ROC.
I mean, and if you consider, right, if you consider maybe they get 4 picks, right, this would already be an increase, like it's 200% of the kills, right? So big numbers to achieve with fairly small kills, so definitely something they can work with. But Crazy Raccoon, yeah, as you mentioned, probably don't want to show every detail of the compositions they have prepared for strong enemies like Falcons or SSG maybe. So maybe we can expect a little more variety from them here, as we'll have the team of Crazy Raccoon on the right attacking first. Obviously, we see the Symmetra teleport just to save a couple of meters at the beginning. And we see Max on the Zarya actually here.
Yeah, we'll see if that sticks. I imagine once he sees that Canny is on Sigma and it's a Sigma Bat Brig, they might just go for some kind of similar mirror. Or maybe they're just going to play this anyway. So heroes on your screen right now probably mean a couple of things. There's Zarya and there is Venture. Venture has a very strong engage where they can burrow underneath. You combine that with Bubbles and this Venture could be an absolute nightmare to dislodge. And we've seen that here as Heesang comes in.
First picks coming in already, and we see Scary One getting the pick on Heesang. And this actually makes it a 4v4. Lip on the other side here. With the Cassidy already starting to take percentages on the objective. As now, obviously, ROC has to contest this some way. Kani gets the pick on Max, actually. Therefore, this might actually be an opportunity for them to keep Crazy Raccoon away a bit longer. Froki gets the kill on Shu as well. A lot of frags falling into the favor of ROC Esports on this first fight. But he's saying on the Genji, getting to Krorong a third one. In the end, this will probably still be the capture for Crazy Raccoon.
They're making a bit of a meal of killing Canny at the end. And Canny's actually going to try and flux out of this one. Bubble to save Chorong, and Canny is just running with this one to the high ground. Where is he going, Julian? Surely he can't get out of this one.
He most certainly will not, although it's still a very dangerous enemy. Of course, Korong gets the melee kill on the Sigma. And therefore, that card is starting to roll. About 5 minutes on the timing. Obviously, quite a lot of slot gets the kill on Korong.
Yeah, I actually respect it a lot from Canny. My whole team dies, I kill a couple of people, and I have Flux. I'm going to clutch it. Tried it, didn't work out. Rosario coming in handy, and now we're going to see a lot of these powerful ults coming up for Crazy Raccoon, which means there's loads of wacky combos you can see. You can see a Captive Sun into a Dragon Blade. Lots of difficult things for ROC to try and survive. So this rally and the lamp going to be super important to try and weather this storm.
And you can tell he's saying he's looking for that blade, looking for the right timing. He has the windows pulled. He's now going in with the Dragon Blade on the high ground. However, though, there's also the Immortality Field coming in as well as the window. And therefore, no value at all for the big Heesang. But Shu gets the kill on Kani. No tank for ROC Esports. And that way or another, they will fall apart while Nitro still gets the kill with Genji. But it's not really doing anything too much for the team.
Use for rally in that one as well. So now we're going to have to push back out. A difficult retake under any circumstances, but into a Grav and a Captive Sun and a High Noon. Probably see that Grav combined with one of them here, and this should be the end of second point for ROC.
They are just slicing through the MS here. The Grav also technically ready for Maxi, as we see the Larry ultimate getting Nitro in the end, and everyone up there on the scoreboard. Team kill once again for Crazy Raccoon. Again, 4 minutes 40 time bank is in their favor, as we see a couple of swaps coming in on the side of ROC Esports. However, in the end, the time bank probably too massive to make something super surprising happen here. It's now about just trying to take as much time off that team as possible.
Yeah, this Midtown third point is actually, we see this quite a lot where teams can have a decent run through first and second, but once they get to third with this big open sight line, it can become an absolute nightmare. I am a little bit surprised to see Sloth actually swap off the Widow at this point, because this is one of the best points for that Widow. Now over onto the Tracer. In theory, can apply a little bit more pressure to the backline here, but it's a High Noon to kick it off, Julian.
And it's generating a lot of space actually here for Crazy Raccoon. Not really getting any kills from it. Now the counter High Noon coming in, but no kills from it. Kani, however, gets the kill on Lip. Therefore, 1 DPS less on that team of Crazy Raccoon for this fight. Maybe something they can capitalize from. However, Crazy Raccoon kiting their way out of this one onto the high ground, saving their lives, but obviously losing a couple of seconds of the time. And Kurong finding slot in the duel here. Lucio takes down the Tracer. Not something you see every day, though, in this matchup. Something that we might experience more often.
Conceded a lot of space, and now the beat push over the top. Heesang's going to have a blade to finish this one as well. The payload is moving. Flux is good, actually. Needs to try and find a kill out of this one. Desperate for a kill, Canny looking for it. Needs to try and eat his Captive Sun as well, but Shu's just going to hold it. And payload's moving this entire time. Oh, they're just trapped in spawn, Julian. Nowhere to go.
Max getting a total of 3 kills in that last fight to finish the attacker round of Crazy Raccoon. A timing of 3 minutes 23 is definitely something that you can work with in case of a second go. But also, you have to give it to ROC Esports, as they are definitely making the best from their situation here. A lot of kills coming in on Midtown in their favor. Not giving up that easily. Good performance from them, good showing on this defensive round. Let's see what they have in store for their attack.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with it. Nitro helped me out in the 30+ club. We've now got a frag at the Esports World Cup, so everything seems to be trending up for those of you in the audience who are also above 30. It's not over yet. But This map might be though for ROC Esports. It's going to be a really tough way back, I think. We're going to see Crazy Raccoon playing. It's hard to say how much of this is real and how much of this is. We're probably going to win the series anyway. Let's play what we want. Yeah. So when we're looking at attack, I think the idea of a Lucio and a Lari backline, fake news. And we're not going to see that in one of these more high stakes games. But the Zarya venture, there's been word on the street that has been happening in scrims. There is a play style to it. You can play very aggressive, obviously, with the bubbles and double flex DPS. Play a very hard engage type style. This version, though, the Alari Kiri, again, I'm not believing the backline, not buying it. But something like a Mei Farah Sigma, like a sort of slower double poke comp, maybe if she was on BAP instead. That's the sort of comp I maybe could see existing in a real world.
Yeah, I definitely like the Farah from Hisang here, something that can be very useful on this map here, as we see the first picks coming in for Crazy Raccoon. Max able to get the enemy Sigma out of the equation, as Hisang is fairly uncontested up there in the air. Nitro not really too much he can do on that Cassidy at the moment, as he's more busy trying to save his own life, which hasn't really been working out too well for him so far. Back to the spawn, back to the drawing board for ROC Esports.
This was one of the heroes that I think Hisang really separated himself from a lot of the competition with the Dallas Major. Obviously, with flex DPS players, we always think about their Tracer, we always think about players like Proper and this. But I think Hisang is competitive on all heroes he plays, and Farah was one where he was absolutely standout here. And while Farah was nerfed a little bit in the last patch, I think she's still viable. Not as viable as she was, but if they can get Hisang into a spot where he can play this hero and it's effective, it's a huge advantage for Crazy Raccoon, not just in this series, but in the tournament. Absolutely,
and especially because Hisang is so flexible under the hero. He doesn't really need too much attention from his backline here, as it's basically only Nitro who's really in some kind of position to maybe contest this Farah here, but even for him it's been super hard, as he's more busy trying to stay with his team and keep the team alive here. Hisang pretty uncontested over this whole defensive round so far. Close to his ultimate as well, the wall denying a lot of vision here. We see the Gravitic Flux coming in from Max. No direct kills with the Lamp doing a lot of work here for ROC, but as you can see again, Hisang so uncontested from a second angle, can make so much damage happen for his team here. It's super hard for ROC Esports to find any kind of way into this.
Really struggling to finish this kill. Come on, Shoemate, you can do it. There we go. He got it in the end, but you see why the Farah is used on Midtown still here. Like I said, I don't think we're seeing the meta as much, but on maps like this, where you can see Hisang doing that exact movement where he goes over top into an immediate flank. It's really hard to contest, really hard to mark, and gets into a really dangerous position. But Julian, ults are coming online for ROC Esports now, some of the major ones here, so this is their big chance.
Absolutely, the opportunity to keep the Farah contested over Nitros. Cassidy ultimate, of course. We see Shu just totally uncontested coming in from the background. He just goes in there, takes the first kill. So many frags coming in for Crazy Raccoon. No chance at all. The only good thing that ROC can take off this fight is they did not waste any ultimates on it, because this one just collapsed in itself.
I was actually a level of disrespect here, so they're going to have to rely on this clutch barrage hiding spot for Hisang. Do they know? Have they checked their corners? Yeah!
The lamp,
sort of.
The lamp is doing so much work here for ROC Esports. Froki, second time that his lamp saves the day at least for another half an hour, because in the end the kills keep coming in for Crazy Raccoon. 40 seconds still on the bank for ROC Esports. 5 ultimates on board though. They are ready for an explosion never seen before. The question is, what can they make of it?
Yeah, they have to make it count. They also have to work a touch in here without a trace or anything, so they kind of have to go right now. And there is a flux for them to deal with as well. They can rally and lamp through that. They're going to start with Window actually here. Hisang still above, flux over top, rally as well. They're dropping everything. They've killed Shu. They've got a bit of space on the map. They've got plenty of time to touch now as well, and everything looks okay now, Julian.
Definitely the opportunity they've been looking for now. You see the High Noon creating so much space. They get a tick on their accounts, not died in the process though. 2 ticks, overtime triggered, of course. Now the question, can they finish the job? Yes. So Blizzard is coming in. It's getting more and more dangerous now. Carney falling first, but there's a kill coming in. Max is down. Shu gets 2. Their revenge is here. And Crazy Raccoon will take Midtown without dropping first point.
I don't know what happened there to Sloth and his Mayo, because it felt like they did the hard bit, which was eventually lose enough fights that you have a massive ult advantage, come with a massive ult advantage, get an open pick walking in, get all the space, get themselves a point. But it seemed like Sloth went off on a bit of his own adventure, gets caught, throws over Mayo, doesn't find value. So then, when they actually come for the recontest here, I think Crazy Raccoon did a good job of scattering once they realised they lost the fight, right? So they can recontest. But then they don't have the ults really. They don't have the Mayo to match Lips, so Lips able to freeze Canny out of the flux, and it all just falls apart from there. So, yeah. I mean, it's the result we expected, right? Crazy Raccoon able to get away with most of what they want to do.
Absolutely, and I mean, to be fair, the Pharah from Heesung, there's not really been anyone on the server who was at least to some degree able to contest this in this defensive round from them. The Cassidy technically works as a counter, but it's SA against Korea, right? There's still there's not even a ping difference now, but it's still like a gap, right? There's still a certain skill gap that we definitely have to recognize in this matchup. Therefore, he's saying fairly uncontested on the Pharah. But we have to give it to Froki, for example. The Lambs worked really well. They've denied a couple of ultimates from the side of Crazy Raccoon. Definitely something they can take into analysis here and maybe work on even improving a little bit more for the matchups that are still coming their way in this Group A.
I think one thing I want to try and do with this series is maybe going to true in the next match we watch as well, is figure out what is real and what is not real. And when I look at some of Crazy Raccoon's ult usage there, I see them dropping 3 ults into essentially a one fight already. So that hopefully isn't real. But what they do afterwards is they go and hold forward and they hide Heesung with a barrage. A very classic strategy to do if you have no ults or very few ults versus a lot of ults. I think that's real. I think one thing we've seen Crazy Raccoon do throughout their tenure, and maybe this increased over time as well, is take more aggressive fights, hold in spawn, be willing to do these things. It sometimes bites them in the arse, but a lot of the time it gets a lot of value, it puts a lot of pressure out. So I think there are snippets here of that Crazy Raccoon playstyle, as I believe we might be getting a sub for this next map as well, but I don't think that will change the playstyle or the result all that much either.
Not too much probably indeed. ROC is probably going to run into a still very strong Crazy Raccoon, of course, on map 3, which is going to be picked by them once again. Might be the last one, probably will be the last one in this matchup, as Crazy Raccoon obviously will look to close this one fairly quick. As you mentioned, they don't want to give away too many comms for those, let's say, smaller regions at the very beginning of this tournament. Everybody, stay tuned as we will go into map 3 after this short break. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back for a game of Is This Real or Is This Not Real? It is do or die for ROC Esports in their first group stage match, and the enemy is not a pleasant one. Crazy Raccoon have been looking more than dominant on those first two maps of this best of 5 at the Esports World Cup. Commander X is still with me here on the B stream. Do we see any light at the end of the tunnel for ROC Esports?
Well, I guess it's probably lunchtime soon, so there's like a little bit of a silver lining there for them. Yeah, I don't know. We talked about it a little bit before. There's a huge gap in regions in Overwatch, and I think especially ones like the OCE region, the Pacific region, and the South American region are going to suffer from that big disadvantage, and that's some of what we're seeing here. This is obviously ROC Esports, the 6th seed team, versus Crazy Raccoon, the first seed team. So it's not surprising that we get a very one-sided affair. And we are going to get a change in here as well. We are going to get Jumbin coming in for Max, the Dallas Major MVP. And we can take a look at the bans here as well. Now, it will be affecting Jumbin, and it will be a Diva ban from Crazy Raccoon and an Ana ban from ROC Esports. So we talked about that Ana ban here because it can take dive away. And we are on New Junk City as well, which is maybe not the most dive-friendly map anyway. So potentially a bit of mismanagement from ROC here. We've seen this throughout the tournament here, Julian, where you've not just got to consider what heroes you want to ban. It's not as simple as, these guys like to dive, let's not let them dive. It's like, you need to factor in the map as well. Make sure it's a map where you actually play it. So the information, the read you have on the other team, and all of this is super important here. So ROC have maybe missed a bit of a chance here to, by banning Ana on a map they wouldn't play it anyway. We'll see what they do instead, and initially we're going to see a Junker Queen mirror, Julian.
And I mean, why not, right? Why not? We see the almost, now complete mirror. Lip is on the venture, so is a slot. Definitely some good usage of the new heroes that came into the game recently. Junker Queen on both sides. He's saying on the Genji, however, definitely an opportunity to be a difference maker here.
And opening knife comes in, and that's the backline dismantled already. Can he change one? But it's not going to change the result of his first fight, and it will be Crazy Raccoon again. Now, Julian, we've been playing a game so far called Real or Not Real. What do you think?
I say real. Why not? I think the comp technically is one that could work. I'm not sure whether it works against like the very, very good opponents like maybe Falcons Esports or SSG, but definitely one that I would consider as a comp that Crazy Raccoon might pull out again during this tournament. Probably not one they will focus on too much though.
I think you're right. Maybe this is going to be a gold stream exclusive here for all the real ones in chat. But this comp has been played by teams in scrims in this week and in the Korea bootcamp. We've seen a variety of teams have been running these jungle queen comps. It's quite effective into a lot of things. It's effective when you want to play aggressive. It's effective on maps like this where Lucio is good. It's also very effective into Mauga for the Mauga teams that are still out and about here. So I think even though you can maybe look at this series and wonder what is and isn't real as we have been, this is legitimate. I think this will not be the first time we see Crazy Raccoon and other teams at this event on this type of composition.
80% on the side of Crazy Raccoon already. As you know, guys, flash points move a bit quicker than control points do. Therefore, it's basically best of 5 in a map as we see Sluts taking kill of Goran again, who's died a couple of times now on this map. Shu getting the kill on the enemy Venture, Hanbin as well, taking down Nitro here. Fairly uncontested first point for Crazy Raccoon.
The nature of this type of mirror as well is because it's so aggressive and so volatile, is it really favors essentially just high mechanics, right? Players who can win duels, players who can hit shots quickly in short amount of times, and obviously, as you would expect, a lot of the Korean players, a lot of the players on Crazy Raccoon fall into that category. I think one interesting play that we saw a little bit of there is Lip, right? We talked about a weakness of Crazy Raccoon, and maybe it is if you can get Lip off hit scan. And in these compositions, you don't really want to play hit scan, so how well Lip can do on the Venture is going to be key here, but
it seems to be working fairly well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, seems good.
Seems good for him. Genji ultimate coming out as well. Heeseng taking down 2 in the process. Kurong finishing the job on the enemy Venture. Nitro barely making it out alive, but definitely still a very one-sided matchup, as expected, you have to say, in a matchup like this. First seed against 16th seed on paper as well as on the server. This has been one-sided from the beginning on. However, ROC Esports are still trying to leave their mark here. Kuron getting the first kill in this fight. Lip following shortly after, getting 2 on the Venture already, and Hanbin making so much damage on this Jungle Queen. The value is coming in for sure as Lip takes a 3rd one on his profile. Hanbin getting Nitro out of the equation. The Slot gets the Venture duel revenge in the end. But those ticks, they're happening so quickly. Another 100% in the books as we go on the potential last point of ROC Esports in this series. Do or die indeed.
It was a shame really, because on paper it was basically a mirrored ult situation. Rampage and Beat available for both, but they went a little bit before Scary One had it, so by the time they tried to drop the Beat, actually ends up being an Ajax, and that just not just loses them the fight, but really puts them quite far behind in the ult economy. So as we move on to this potentially final point here, we're going to get the Doom swap from Jumpin as well. Lurking behind them here, just trying to find a way to go in. They're going to try and hit from a few different doors, it seems.
Now the ultimate's coming out on both sides as we see kills coming in, and ROC actually taking 2 in their favor. Slot gets a 3rd one, Scary One a 4th in the books, and this actually is the first team fight ever for ROC Esports on the big stage here, taking this control over. What a play from them, what a play.
Brazil is back. They've left it maybe to the latest hour. They now need to reverse sweep the map, reverse sweep the series, but one fight went at a time. If they get one there, Tectonic shot now starting from Lip. It's an early pick onto Nitro. They're going to keep going. Sloth tries to double down the aggression, but slightly mistimed from the rest of the ROC players. So now they've just got to trade as best they can, and they'll be on the retake side in this next one. They do have a Rampage to come back with.
Rampage to work with. Gary One getting closer to the Lucio ultimate as well. However, Sound Barrier also available for Kurong on the side of Crazy Raccoon. We see the first kills coming in before the fight even starts. Hanbin just takes the team on his own. 2 down, 3 to go. Trying to look for a 3rd one here. Now it's time to knock on those spawn doors for Crazy Raccoon.
Push them all the way back here. Still have the Rampage coming back. Is approaching last fight territory if they can't find a way through. They force for recall out early, and the beat will save everyone on Crazy Raccoon from this rampage. So they will survive, and they will stay in the spawn. They need to battle their way out here. They need to touch the point, Julian. It's desperation time for ROC.
Not too much they can do at the moment though. Sound Barrier pulled as well, getting a first pick. Slot takes down the enemy Lucio. Can they capitalize from it? It looks like it. Kani gets the pick on Shu. No backline available for Crazy Raccoon, but he's saying he doesn't need it. Gets the kill on Slot. Will it be enough though, as the point has already flipped in favor of ROC Esports? Pulls the Genji ultimate as a result of it. Looks a bit wasted here, but maybe he's just going for a swap as well. I don't know if that was worth it. Is that another question of real or not real?
Well, unfortunately, I think that was a real attempt from Hisang to try and clutch the fight, but he didn't get very close at all. And now a Kitsune rush on point will be mirrored. Sloth has the Tectonic Shock over the top. Coming back in here, should be able to clean this one up. This is a fight for kills. There's the Suzu Force, but they get taken down. Crucial kill from Hisang, but it's not over yet.
Ah, the stick is good for Nitro. Gets the kill and live. Overtime is triggered. It's going to be the last duel for them. ROC falling one by one. Overtime is taken down, and Crazy Raccoon have taken the first win at the Esports World Cup against ROC Esports from South America. W celebrations at the players' desks and celebrations in the chat as well.
Crazy Raccoon will be hoping it's the first of many, probably the easiest one they're going to get all tournament, but you gotta win them all. They'll come over here, handshakes between the teams. I imagine ROC, probably at the start of the year, didn't have themselves playing against a team of this caliber, so a great experience, I think, for all the ROC players and the ROC staff. And they'll go on in this tournament, first group game in the bag. Crazy Raccoon off to a winning start.
Definitely were able to meet the expectations. Anything else obviously would have been a fair surprise to many, as they take their first victory in this Group A, as obviously a duel from first against 16s was expected to be one-sided. They stood up to that expectation. Quick 3-0 for them in the books. However, journey of ROC Esports obviously isn't over yet. There's still 2 games to go for them. In that Group A as well, we have Toronto Ultra and Gaming Gladiators. Probably a